Let's take a look at the 6-bladed cartridge that comes as standard with the Stirling. And to get a closer look at it, of course, I can drop it out really quickly and take a closer look at it. So this is the one that I use on my lawn, so it's had quite a lot of use already. But the ultra-change cartridges are a little bit more robust. So I've got a thicker 6mm thick blade, and that's made out of some really special materials to make that hard. And the same applies to the 6 blades on the cylinder as well. These are all special steels, and they're also heat treated. The reason they need to be really hard is we need to keep a sharp edge as long as we possibly can, and also by making the blade stronger, they're less likely to chip or bend when you hit stones, which is sort of inevitable. Where do those stones come from on the lawn? That's the question I always have, but they always seem to appear. And the shore blade that we fit onto this, like I say, is incredibly hard, and of course that is where the shearing action occurs between the rotating cylinder blade and the actual solid shore blade on the underside. To get it adjusted, this is really ideal if I can get a blade that cuts grass really cleanly and it really has, I'm going to say, no contact here. And the adjustment is all done on the screw settings just here, which adjusts the cylinder down to the bottom blade. Although it's always really nice when you can show these mowers cutting paper, it really illustrates the scissor action. Depending on the type of grass that I have and the time of year that it is, I don't actually need to have the cylinder that tight as long as it cuts the grass cleanly. So I always adjust it as lightly as I possibly can, but at the same time knowing 100% that it's cutting and shearing the grass completely cleanly. This 6-bladed cylinder really cuts well, and it mows down to 5mm height of cut, and that is adjusted on the Stirling with this very clear height adjustment just here. If I use the right hand scale, I can choose exactly how many millimeters height of cut that I can select. In certain types of grasses, the grass benefits from a scalping operation, and scalping means that you take the grass down really, really low, and it's normally part of a renovation process. And by taking the grass down low, it means that when I do any cultivations or overseeding, that the blades of grass are not getting in the way of the debris throwing into the grass box, and it's not stopping the blades from going down into the thatch layer. So I can use this down to 5mm high, and it's really surprising how cleanly that cuts the grass down very, very low. Another practice that I like to follow as well is, in order to keep the blades really sharp, and remember these aren't sharp like knives, what they are is really sharp corners that are working together to actually shear the grass, is using a backlapping operation. And we have a video on that shows in detail how you backlap, and with a 24mm socket on a power drill, I can turn the cylinder not in the cutting direction but in the backwards direction. That's where the backlapping comes from, and I can use a grinding paste which I apply with a brush, and I slowly turn that backwards, and what it does on the rear edge of the blade, it puts it really, really square, and also on the bottom blade as well, and that just means that I can keep a really sharp edge and absolutely minimal contact, and at the same time cut the grass as cleanly as I can so that the injury site is as minimal as possible. So that's the 6-bladed cylinder. I think you'll all enjoy that in this mower, and you'll really get a super clean cut with it. So these are the grass clippings that I've just cut now with the 6-bladed cartridge. The clippings you can see are quite long. I'm looking at 10 to 12 millimeters, and that's quite a lot of grass because I'm mowing at 15 millimeters high. So in sometimes I'm taking sort of 50% of the grass plant off at any one time, which is too much. You know, we should be cutting at a third of the grass plant off at any one time. So these are the 6-bladed cylinder handles along the grass clippings really well, and you can see that it throws it all into the back of the box. So we're going to tip this out now, and then we'll compare this with the other uprisings that we get from other cartridges. So if I really want to scalp the grass down as part of my cultivation techniques, or if I want to maybe overseed, or in certain types of warm season grasses, a good scalp every now and again seems to benefit the grass. So first thing I've done is taken the actual comb off the front of the machine. This will dig into the ground because I'm now going to be mowing so low that this would just dig into the ground and the roller will just spin. So 13mm spanner, and remove the screws on both sides, put them back in the rake so that you can find them when you come to put it back on again. Next thing I'm going to do is lower the height of cut down to 5mm, and I'm going to be using this green scale on the right hand side. I'm not going to be using the cultivation scale that is in white. I'm going to turn the speed down to slow, so that I'm going to go 1 click of 9. So from off position, I'm just going to take it 1 further click, and then what I'm going to do is start the blades, and off we'll go. So now you can see that's really scalped down. This is 15mm high. This is down at 5mm high, so taking 10mm off. And now that's really made it easy. If I'm going to cultivate or overseed now, it's really made it easy to be able to get the seed to contact the ground. If I want to mow lower than 5mm and scalp it even further down, then I'll need to use the 10-bladed cartridge, which we'll talk about later. And that 10-bladed cartridge, because the blade is slightly thinner at the front, means that I can mow that down as low as 3mm high.